I actually can't believe I'm doing this. Genuinely. Whoa, sorry. If you did follow my travels across Australia, my Holly Goes Solo series, and you watched my Sydney vlog, you might have worked out that I did start talking to guys and I made some guy friends and we met on a tour. We went out to get dinner, we went to Bondi Beach in Sydney, and yeah, did anybody work that out? Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Welcome back to my channel. I have never looked this put together for a video in my whole entire life. Let's just firstly question, who even am I? Holly, what am I doing? But I'm sitting here and filming today's video, which is also something I didn't think I'd be doing. But thanks to mum, yeah, thanks mum. You blew my cover. In the Q&A that mum and I did, she was like, oh Holly, didn't you see that guy in Australia? And mum completely screwed me over. You know, you guys caught on and you were like, Holly, we want to hear about those stories. I probably was going to talk about it at some point, so it may as well be now in today's video. I actually realized that there was so much I didn't share when I was vlogging, just because in the moment sometimes you don't give all of the information. So if you do want to hear some other stories, like this video. And yeah, growth happens outside your comfort zone, and that includes when you're filming videos talking about this kind of stuff. Okay, right. Before we though jump into the actual main event of the video, shall we say, I just wanted to talk about the jewelry that I'm wearing, because if you have been watching and keeping up to date with my vlogs recently, you'll know that I have fallen back in love with jewelry, because I have not taken this cuff and this set of earrings. I have just not taken them off, literally. And I wear this necklace as well that I was sent from Ana Luisa Jewelry. So basically, Ana Luisa is a fully sustainable jewelry brand in New York in the US. To me, as you guys know, sustainability means literally everything. I don't try to overconsume, and if I do purchase things that aren't essential, like jewelry for example, I will 100% be looking for stuff that's sustainable. A lot of jewelry these days isn't recyclable, whereas Ana Luisa makes everything using 100% recycled gold and sterling silver, so the quality is amazing. This is the simple ear cuff, and I've always wanted to experiment with like ear cuffs, but I've never thought that anything would suit me or just fit around my kind of weirdly shaped ears. But this is like, oh, I just love it. It looks real, but it's fake. If you have followed my channel for a while, you'll know that stars mean a lot to me. Star. And so when I saw these are the crescent moon huggy hoops. I honestly just fell in love. And they're even prettier in real life, in person. The sparkle and just, oh, I honestly love them. I love how they're uneven, like you've got the star and then the moon. I think these are my favorite probably, but they do work so well with the cuff, so I'm just like living for this look right now. And then finally, this is the Silvia necklace. It's a two-piece set, and yeah, I actually really like two-piece necklace sets. I think they're really something, and I kind of like to wear it with a plain top, so I'm wearing black today so you can really see it clearly. But yeah, because Ana Luisa very kindly sent this to me, and we might be working on something a bit more long term. But basically, there's a link in the description box, and you can get 10% off if you shop through that link. You use the code HOLLYG10 and you get 10% off any of their products on their website. It starts from $49 and the prices increase from that, but yeah, check out Ana Luisa. Okay, so it's me in the grass today. We are telling the story. I'm getting nervous, Kate. So let's basically start off with some facts. I traveled in Australia. I solo traveled for 3 months. If you didn't know that, I just genuinely think you've been living under a rock, because I talk about Australia and think about it every single day, okay? Basically, during the first month of my trip, I was very, very homesick. I wasn't myself. I was meeting new people, yes, but I just wasn't myself at all. I wasn't really exposing Holly, as we know. It took me a very long time to like find my feet, but we then hit Cairns, and that is when everything started to settle into place. And I was like, you know what, Holly, you have to make the most of this. You have to live your life. And I suddenly kind of fell in love with the backpacker life and realized how liberating and freeing and just incredible it can be. So before we actually get into the story I'm going to focus on in the video, I just want to talk about some of the people I met, and specifically the guys or the boys I met, because this video is themed around that. Okay, so I firstly met DQ, and surprisingly I did actually meet DQ in my first month. It was like in my 3rd week, I think, of being in Australia or something crazy.
Hi YouTube, how's it going?
So I still wasn't really myself. I was still very homesick, but I did a tour of the Great Ocean Road basically, and I met Tears, who is amazing, and I also met DQ as well as some others. It was a really small group, and I felt pretty comfortable, and DQ was the first guy I met. I also saw him again in Brisbane. Okay, after that we then trekked through the outback and we hit Alice Springs. I'm not going to talk about this story, but I did meet, I'm not really going to say meet, but there was a stranger danger guy story, let's just say. We're not going to talk about that in this video. It could potentially be a whole other video. It wasn't a bad incident, but let's just say I was very glad I got myself out of a situation quite quickly. And now we're going to move on swiftly basically and jump to Cairns. As I said, I basically got my paddy in Cairns, and this brings me on to the story that Mum was talking about. Oh, she literally got it so messed up, I don't understand. Anyway, I didn't introduce you guys to this person. I don't think he was in any of my videos at all, but basically this guy I saw not only in Cairns when I was scuba diving, he was actually my scuba diving instructor, okay, but basically we met up again with him and his mom, let me just say, in Byron Bay just to get vegan food because he's also vegan, and that was literally just a friendly thing, okay, like 100% friendly thing, and Mum got the wrong end of the stick, the completely wrong end of the stick with that story. So we have that one straight, okay, you hear me? Okay, so we've dealt with that one, and then finally we're just gonna jump back to Cairns basically. I did 2 Uncle Brian's tours back to back, and I had the same tour guide on both days. Eli was hilarious. He made my day on both those tours, and honestly, I was just cracking up the whole time.
Dogs and cats, not allowed to hump on the grass. Just be careful, the water is wet. And you look like a platypus. Go. And you did the T-Rex.
And basically Eli, I'm so grateful that I met him because he really drew out the crazy side of me and the real me basically, because we all know I am crazy, as I said, and he really brought that out of me, and I kept that for the rest of my travels. So yeah, if you do the Uncle Brian's tours, if you're ever in Australia, please request Eli. Okay, so deep breath, we finally hit the main event of the video, the final story, and basically this is when I hit Sydney. So Sydney was my final destination in Australia. If you want to watch the full vlog and try and work it out yourself, go ahead, I'll leave it in a card and link it down below, but let's talk about it right now. So basically I'd arrived in Sydney on a very rainy day, like the rainiest day they'd ever had in Sydney or something crazy. We have to remember that the bushfires were going on, so it was very good that they had rain. I was basically doing a lot of my own exploring. I'd been there for a couple of days, and I was staying in an area of Sydney called the Rocks, and specifically the Rocks YHA. I only had like one pre-booked tour in Sydney, and that was to see the Blue Mountains. It was a one-day tour. So yeah, that is where our story kind of begins. I was the first on this tour guide bus, or whatever you want to call it. Our tour guide was Glenn. He was very funny, and there weren't actually that many people on this tour again, and so I felt pretty comfortable, you know. I felt a lot better in smaller groups. And so yeah, within this tour group there were 2 guys, 2 Canadian guys, and they were actually in the vlog. Do you want to be in the vlog?
Hello.
Michael?
Yeah.
And Josh. We like arrived at this place called Wentworth Falls. So they're really stunning waterfalls basically. I ate lunch on my own. I hadn't really spoken to anyone yet on the tour except the tour guide Glenn. And so we started our hike down Wentworth Falls. One of them was basically wearing a tank top, I would say. Yeah, that's a tank top, vest top, that said welcome to travel on the back, and I was like, oh my gosh, like they must have done the welcome to travel tour. It turned out that only one of them did the tour, but anyway, that information doesn't matter right now. And you guys know welcome to travel is basically the company that set up my whole travels, specifically Daryl. Shout out to you. I will forever be grateful for Daryl because he knows this. He knows that he changed my life through traveling. These guys looked kind of like my age. The rest of the people on the tour were quite a bit older, and so I was like, you know what, Holly, you're just gonna pluck up the courage and start the conversation. And so guys, please be proud of me. Like, I need to pat my back, okay, because I started the conversation, okay? I started the conversation between me and 2 guys. I know that sounds really stupid to say, but this is coming from someone that has had no friendships with guys. I rarely have interactions with boys, and so, you know, I started this conversation and felt very much out of my comfort zone, but I'm really glad I did it. So I basically started the conversation being like, so you must have done the welcome to travel tour, right? And so I knew that I could use that as a conversation starter, and it worked. And I was like, yeah, I did that tour as well. And so basically that started like everything sort of thing. For the rest of the hike down Wentworth Falls, when we took pictures at the waterfalls, I was talking to these 2 guys and we were getting to know each other, and yeah, I basically made friends on the tour, which was great, you know. It's always a plus to not just be on your own, and I was pretty used to like meeting new people and making friends on the spot at this point. 3 months into my travels, almost ready to go home. But like talking to two guys, like me and just two guys, I'd never found myself in that situation before. So I was like, this is very new. But I'm just gonna be myself, as I told myself, and yeah. So we basically saw these waterfalls, we went to some other lookouts, and coming towards the end of the day tour, there was an opportunity to do like another hike or walk to see the Three Sisters. This one's called Eagle Hawk Lookout, and we can see like the three sisters, is that right? 7 sisters, 3 sisters, 3 rocks. These rocks or something. But essentially the whole day it had been forecast to rain and the rain hadn't come yet. So we kind of knew there was going to be rain and a storm was brewing as well. It was optional, let me just emphasize. So most of the people on the tour were like, no Glenn, we don't want to do the hike. So the other option was to just drive to this pub, the end kind of location instead. So Glenn basically asked like who actually wants to do this hike, because you can go on your own, you just follow the trail. And I was like, I want to do it. And then Michael and Josh also wanted to do it, so we were like, sweet, let's just do the hike. And there was also another lady who came with us called Louise. I always forget her name. We've got Louise. And it'd been like literally no more than 10 or 15 minutes and the clouds in the sky literally turned grey. There were clouds that were like chasing us and we were like, oh my gosh, the rain is gonna come. And suddenly it started to bucket down. We saw the Three Sisters, we saw the pub, and we were like, we cannot go and see those rocks, we have to go to the pub. So we were like, we have to sprint, we have to literally run. All I'm gonna say from this, and what I take away from this, and I'm not gonna name who it was, Louise and one of the other guys ran to the pub. And I was kind of like umming and ahhing and dithering, me being me, like me just being a typical girl. And one of them like waited with me and then just like ran with me to the pub. And basically I was like, that's so nice. It probably wasn't even on purpose, but I just wasn't left alone and I was like, that's really nice. I cannot think of another word right now other than nice. Okay, I was like, that's really friendly and a nice thing to do. I really appreciated that. And you know, we reached the pub. We stayed in the pub for like an hour or even over an hour. We were there for a really long time. The plan for the rest of the tour was to basically go and watch the sunset, but because it was raining, that plan was completely like obliterated. And we were like, no, that's just not gonna happen, Glenn. Everyone from the tour was in the pub and the three of us just sat and talked for a really long time. We got back on the bus, we drove back to Sydney. I humiliated myself on the way back because I didn't get a very kind of simple joke, but I don't get any joke, but that's fine. This was just me being me. And then when we got back to Sydney, this is when it got really weird. It was like dark at this point because the sun had set, but basically Michael and Josh were also staying at the same hostel and I was like, wait, how have I not seen you then before? I don't even know why. I'd probably been walking around with my eyes closed or I should have had my glasses on, but who knows. They were staying at the same hostel and so I was like, oh, that's really weird. But it was actually quite good because I never like being out in the dark on my own. Some tours won't drop you right off outside of your hostel and this was one of those. So we had to walk a bit. It was like a 20-minute walk or something. So we all went back to the YHA. It was dark, but it was fine. I wasn't on my own, so I felt pretty safe. We were like, let's just go out and get some food, just get something to have for dinner. So we went to one of the pubs literally next to the Rocks YHA. So yeah, we just got dinner, okay? And then we just went and saw the Opera House during the nighttime with all the lights on and everything. And it was really nice to see that in the dark. Basically, I'd only ever seen it in the daytime. So we just walked around the area, just still talking, chatting, and just friendly conversation basically. So I actually checked the Sydney vlog and basically the next day I was actually, who is calling me? Who is calling me? Hello? Yeah, that's me. Bye. Customer service, I don't really want to do that. The next day I was really tired because we went to get dinner really late and then we were out looking at the Opera House until like gone midnight or something. In this video I was very crafty and very sly. I didn't say that I was really tired. When we got back to the YHA I was gonna do some editing and just get a video finished basically, but I instead got quite distracted, let's say, because I was messaging one of the guys, like I don't even know for how long, like an hour, over an hour on Messenger. Let's just emphasize a few things here. I was in my room on my own. It was just Messenger, right? I have not looked back at these conversations. I'm not going to. I'm not going to share any of that, but I was messaging one of them. I don't know what you'd classify that as. I was supposed to be editing, but I didn't get any of it done because I was messaging one of them, okay? Just talking on Messenger, apparently, for a very long time. Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the vlog and not focusing right now. That is as deep as it got. And then basically jumping to what happened the next day, this is also shown in the vlog. We decided that we'd all go to Bondi Beach. I knew of Bondi before I went to Australia and I really wanted to see it before I left. So we decided we'd all go to Bondi together. You had to get a bus to get there. That meant I didn't have to navigate public transport on my own, so that was a plus, you know. But we went to Bondi and we also met a girl as well at Bondi, one of their friends. We met her there as well, and the four of us just spent the late morning, early afternoon, because we decided to not go super early. At the beach, basically, it was my last day at the beach in Australia, so I had to go in the water. It was super cold, but it was fun, and we were there for like, I don't know, 2-3 hours. My plan was to do the Bondi to Coogee walk, which is a really famous and just picturesque, stunning walk apparently, but I didn't manage to get to do it because I was really tired, as I said. So we just went to Bondi quite late in the day, and then it was quite a rush because I had to then get to a different location in Sydney. I don't know exactly where I went, but I managed to get there because I was filming a podcast with Ankita. Some of you have found that podcast, but yes, I did film 2 episodes for Ankita, her podcast called The University Podcast, and so that meant I didn't spend the rest of the day at the beach. I did have to rush off quite quickly, and I said goodbye, and that was like a final goodbye. So at that point we literally went separate ways. I was going to film that podcast, but I was then leaving Australia in like 2 days. The next day I did my meetup, and then I was leaving, and they were also then trekking up the east coast to go to Byron Bay, where I'd like come from. So yeah, that was it. That was everything that basically happened. The question is like, have I kept in touch with them? The answer is like yes, a bit at the start when I was like traveling home, and then I got home for like the first few weeks or something, but then it just like fizzled out because the reality is like you'll never really see those people again. In summary of all of this, I genuinely only have positive things to say about them both and the friendship that we had, sort of thing. Before I went to Australia, I'd never really ever had any guy friends or boy space friends, let's just emphasize that. And this interaction, it sounds so full and official, this friendship, let's just say, at the end of my trip in Sydney, and I suppose it holds for all the other guys I kind of made friends with, because there were some more that I didn't like talk about obviously, but you know, it made me feel like I was actually interesting and worthwhile sort of talking to, because before, whenever I've met a guy, actually, I've never really met guys. Like, let's be real with yourself, Holly. I've never really held any proper conversations with boys before. But if I have, I've always felt as if they don't like me, or they don't think I'm interesting or worth talking to. And so having met these people in Australia, you know, I really felt as if people actually liked me, sort of thing. Like, liked me for just being Holly. I stepped outside my comfort zone, and it's a really good feeling when you step outside of your comfort zone and things don't go wrong. Like, things actually go better than you expected. Yeah, I learned a lot about myself. I took a lot away from it, a lot of positive things. Yeah, I hope that was interesting to listen to and it wasn't boring. I kind of thought it was going to be an anticlimax, but you guys asked for it, so I am here delivering the content and the information, the story time that you wanted. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. As I said at the start, like, if you did, comment down below if you have any specific requests of topics to talk about, and yeah, subscribe if you're new. I genuinely can't believe I've shared this story. I might question everything when I edit it, but whatever. I'm gonna speak to you very soon in another video. Bye.